All praises, all praises, all praises to the heavenly, holy, almighty creator of infinity, eternity, the universe, the stars, the earth, the mountains, the oceans, the valleys, the seas, the clouds, all creeping things, humanity, and all there is. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit. Happy, holy Sabbath family! Once again, we converge on this wonderful holy congregation for this wonderful convocation. We step up to the threshold of transition where we bear forth our cranial universes and bear forth our souls to receive the wonderful word of holiness and the fire of the love of the holy creator of all praises. And to the scattered tribes of the house of Jacob, wherever you may dwell and sojourn on planet Earth, as well as the melanated and Moors, the original man and children of God, the sovereigns and sojourners, the copper-colored, the colored and people of color, the aboriginals and indigenous, the natives, Negroes and niggas, the African Americans and blacks, the descendants of slaves, and those conquered and colonized. Oh yes, we are blessed as we are once again in our consensual assembly of care, concern, and compassion for the brothers and sisters of the world as we continue with our evolution into eternity. All praises and family. We are at the 59th collection, episode, installment, gathering of the Sabbath Wisdom series, a testimony to our determination and duration, our durability as we decipher and discern the words of the Holy Creator. And we have grown in the wisdoms, in the histories, in the petitions of peace and submission to the holy power. And we have widened our reach and extended our grasp into the darkness of ignorance amongst our people as we continue to battle on this continent of confusion amidst this carnal captivity. All praises. And family, we shall be continuing with the widening reviews of our holy royal history, our holy wisdom, and our continuous petitions of peace for the safety as we continue to persevere and endure. And so we shall begin at the Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit channel standards in the book of Malachi, chapters 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Followed by our second heavenly eternal standard in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8, in reference to the holy anointed Messiah, the wonderful, the counselor, the anointed, the Savior, the King of Israel, whom the world refers to as Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. And family, you know, as we strap on our sandals to slide and stroll down the highway to salvation, we pay due homage to our holy brother prophet Isaiah in his scroll of the 28th chapter, verses 9 through 11. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. Ah, yes, family. And as we have reached this threshold of magnificence with 59 additions to this wonderful series, we are definitely fattened upon the milk of the Holy Word. And as we continue, we will start nibbling and biting at the meat, the geography, the chronology, the archaeology of this holy word of our holy history. All praises. And last week we were examining the continuing lines of the kings of the dual kingdoms of Israel, the house of Israel of the northern tribes and the house of Judah of the southern tribes. And in this edition, we will be highlighting the acts and some of the escapades of King Ahaz of the house of Judah. And we began in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 16, verse 1. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and made his sons to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast down out from before the children of Israel. All right, family. So there was a lot of history in those verses. Ahaz is born in the line of Judah. He is the son of David down the lines of the kings through Solomon and Rehoboam. And so he did not follow the customs of David, and he went after the abominations of the heathen gods and sacrificed his own children to the fire of those devils. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war, and they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. And at that time Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria, and drove the Jews from Elath. And the Syrians came to Elath, and dwelt there unto this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am your servant and your son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which rise up against me. All right, family. So Ahaz has sought the protections of a foreign king. We have a king of Syria who he is looking for the assistance of to battle against the Assyrians and the northern house of Israel. Syria as an ally, Assyria and the northern kingdom as a enemy. And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord and in the treasures of the king's house, and sent it for a present to the king of Assyria. And the king of Assyria heard unto him. For the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. And King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Uriah the priest to fashion of the altar, and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship thereof. And Uriah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Uriah the priest made it against the king. Verse 11. And Uriah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Uriah the priest made it against King Ahaz, came from Damascus. So, family, King Ahaz sent messengers to Assyria. He's meeting with the king. He's seen an image of an altar, and he's making a replica of it. And when the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king approached the altar and offered thereon. And he burnt his burnt offering and his meat offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of the peace offerings upon the altar. And he brought also the brass altar, which was before the Lord, from the forefront of the house, from between the altar of the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the altar. And King Ahaz commanded Uriah the priest, saying, upon the great altar burn the morning burnt offering, and the evening meat offering, and the king's burnt sacrifice, and his meat offering, and the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their meat offering, and their drink offerings, and sprinkle it upon all the blood of the burnt offering, and all the blood of the sacrifice. And the brazen altar shall be for me to inquire by. So he set up this grand altar, family. Now, we will continue to explore the offerings of the sacrifice of us, the holy people. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases, and removed the laver from off them, and took down the sea from off the brazen altars. Now, we're going to go back, family. Verse 16. Thus did Uriah the priest, according to all that King Ahaz commanded. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases, and removed the laver from off them, and took down the sea from off the brazen oxen that were under it, and put it upon the pavement of stones. And the covert for the Sabbath, that he built in the house of the king's entry without, turned he from the house of the Lord for the king of Assyria. Wow, family. So he replicated the altar that the Syrians had. He commanded the people to burn sacrifices, and in so much as the language, made a dedication to the king of Assyria for protection. Now, the rest of the acts of Ahaz, which he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Ahaz slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Hezekiah, his son, reigned in his stead. All praises, family. So that was another review of the royal history of our nation. And in this episode, we see war from outside nations, from our brother nations. We see attempts at confederacy. We see idolatry. We see the abominations of wickedness against our God from our King. And so now we shall continue with the exploits of Hezekiah. And starting in our next episode, we will begin a review of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel, our royal history. All praises. And family, as we are now absorbing the wonderfulness of the identity of our rulership, we are now acknowledging once again the wonderful testament and testimony of peace of our holy Sabbath day. We are at rest.